Hi there.
Oh my gosh, we are so excited.
Premiere.
Yes. So this is our first live talk about coupled.
Yeah.
Secret stories about love, sex, and relationship. And Christian and I are going to go live every Thursday now.
It's a commitment.
It's a commitment.
So,
7 p.m. German time.
Yeah.
So UTC +2.
This week, next week, it's UTC +1.
+1, exactly. The time is going to change. And we are going to talk about our stories. Yes, and the title says it already, about love, sex, and relationship.
Yeah, and we're very open if you have some topic or ideas or you're curious about special things, just tell us and we will pick it up.
Yes, we are an open book. We want to be an open book. And I think that's what makes us special also, because we don't hide things. We talk about them.
Let's see, huh?
So, yes, and we received some beautiful questions and we're going to talk about them. But let's dive right in. And if you have questions here, anything that you want to know, just drop us a message. We'd love to let you guys know. And I already see a few people that we know. Hello, Vanessa. Hello, Kimmy. Hello there. Hello, Tobias. Hey, beautiful people. Let us know where you are watching from.
Yeah, it's international, right?
Yeah, it's international. Where are you watching from? What's the time over there? How are you doing? All right. So, let's dive in, huh?
Yeah, I'm a little bit nervous, so let's see.
That's fine. All right. Hello, Lilith is there. That's beautiful. Hello, let's wait a little bit. Let's wait. Let's see who is here, who's watching. I think, well, if you guys are still there. Amanda was there. That's beautiful. It's international already.
Let's start,
All right, let's start.
Yeah.
So, how Tantra Festivals changed our lives. Yes. And we actually mean that when we say that. Because for me, I can talk about me, they really changed my life. But I think we want to start 4 years ago. That's when we met each other. A little bit over 4 years ago.
Yeah, that's true.
And we want to tell you guys how our sexuality looked back then. And how we're going to take you on a journey to tell you how it changed. And Tantra Festivals played a huge impact in this. And Kimmy is just like saying, love you, excited to hear USA 1 p.m. Yay! Amazing! Queen from Germany, you're our time. Amazing. Beautiful.
Cool.
Okay, beautiful people. So, how would you describe your sexuality? Our sexuality. When we met 4.5, like a bit over 4 years ago. How did it look like for you? How was it for you?
Like it was like playing Minds, the game, computer game. So there are so many minds, and you just try to uncover a field, and poof, you're trapped into the mind. So it was like,
I don't know how the computer play a game.
Okay, so no problem. It was about every aspect I touched or uncovered. It was like there was pain and there was some trigger or whatever, so it was not easy and it was not fulfilling and it was mostly painful.
Yeah.
And a lot of tears, I remember, and a lot of crying and yeah.
So it was really a pain in the butt. I'd say, like, you want me to share also?
Yeah. What was your
Well, I think the tears you talked about were mostly my tears, I guess. But my sexuality 4 years ago was like, I wanted to ban sexuality out of my life. When I met Christian, I really didn't want sex in my life. It was just such a hard topic. I never experienced an orgasm before. It was just hard and heavy. And, I couldn't imagine that sexuality could be something fun. That was me back then. You couldn't touch me without me being triggered. I couldn't speak about what I wanted. I didn't know my desires. I couldn't communicate. I would just freeze in the middle of something, and it took me minutes and minutes and minutes to be able to unfreeze, to get out of there. And that's just a little bit of this. Maybe some of you know this, because I know a lot of women, know this topic about being frozen. And, there's a question, where can you learn more about Tantra? We're going to talk about it just now, afterwards a little bit, because another person asked us the same question. There's many ways of learning more about Tantra. Yeah. So stay tuned. But this was our sexuality back then, there was no playfulness, there was no fun. It was like, we were playing the game that I had learned in society how sexuality had to work, and this is how I wanted to play it. I wanted to please you. But it was a complete disaster, and I hated it.
In so many ways.
In so many ways. And I was stressed. That was one more thing, because I guess you wanted it more than I did. And it stressed me so much because I thought I had to have sex in my life. But actually, I didn't. Actually, I was like, if it wouldn't have been for Christian, I think I would have not gone there. I would have not tapped into the field of sexuality.
Yeah, and for me, it was also like I came from a long-term relationship, and it was like, okay, I knew how to handle female bodies, but it didn't work. So I was frustrated on the one hand.
You knew how to handle the female body, the one that you had been with.
Yeah. So it was frustrating on the one hand, and on the other hand, because you didn't answer my question, how do you want it, because you didn't know. So it was like, this does not work, but there's no other way, and it was like a trap also. Yeah. And
how was it for you with me? Like, you touched me and I would freeze.
Yeah,
you would touch me and I would cry. I couldn't tell you. How was that for you? How did you feel?
Well, it was not sexual in any case from the energy. Like, it was like holding you, but it was not a sexual connotation in the energy.
And how did it make you feel if I would freeze over and over and over again?
It was like when you freeze, it is like powerless, helpless, and I couldn't do anything. Yeah. So it was frustrating and sad at the same time.
So to skip this a little bit,
I think it's a topic in itself.
It's a topic in itself, but like for 1 year, this is like a year before we started to like go to Tantra festivals. I think all we did for 1 year was healing. And I think we need to talk about this. We did a lot of de-armoring for me especially, and Christian was holding me the space for me to let go of blockages, of also traumata and all of these things that I had stored in my yoni. And it was really 1 year of really not really being sexual, but also just healing. And we kept going there. I think that's the important thing. So this is another thing. I think we need to talk about it. Yeah. It's something really important for a lot of women and men, because a lot of men, like, we just had a couple coaching, and men, like, just like Christian, are in a situation where the women freeze and they just don't know what to do.
Yeah, but also from a male perspective, it was very healing for me, because there are performance pressure, or what about your cock, etc. So there is a lot of pressure on men, I think, in society, and women also, but and men also. And there is so much to heal and to free yourself from all these beliefs and things which you see on television or in porn or whatever. So to really own your own sexuality, there's so much to heal.
Yeah, definitely. So what happened then is, and that was like really, this is what we've been doing, and what helped us so much is that Christian, we always, even though I was so close, I was still open to discover. And that's something I think it's really special.
Yeah.
I said, like, I cannot imagine it right now, but I don't know what's going to happen. So I was always really open, and I wanted to change something.
Yeah.
You
had the will, and
I had the will, and I knew that if I can heal things in another fields, I could heal them in my sexuality. Anyway, then Christian, he gifted me this for my birthday, I think.
Yeah, for your birthday.
For my birthday, and it was like a 4-day Tantra festival in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
And maybe just like a side note for all of you who don't know what a Tantra festival is, what is a Tantra festival and what is Tantra for us? What is a Tantra festival?
Whoa. It's a huge playground and a huge buffet of different things, like workshops, teachers, people, so many things, and you can try out and experience.
Yeah.
in the whole field of Tantra, and Tantra in our terms is not the traditional Tantra. Like, it is, of course, connected to spirituality and to sexuality at the same time, but it's not strict like the old Indish text, etc. So it's more neo Tantra, maybe.
And to answer the question, who wrote this here, when are these Tantra festivals? There's more than one, you know. And if you would just Google Tantra Festival, for example, Tantra Festival Holland, Tantra Festival Portugal, Tantra Festival Amsterdam, Tantra Festival Ibiza, there's more than one. Croatia, just Google,
Sweden,
you know, I will share them in the text underneath the ones that we know, and then you can find out.
We visited,
and the ones
the one in Amsterdam is always in Easter.
Exactly. So, but for me, what I wanted to add is that Tantra for us means that Tantra is a field of personal growth and personal development, and really getting to know yourself, like really deep, your essence, your being, through sexuality. But not only. So sexuality for me really means like it's personal growth, and it really means like getting in touch with my divinity and with my essence. And sexuality does not mean the sexual act, but it's like sexuality, maybe that's really important, is like the sexual energy is life force energy. And all this is sexuality. So it doesn't mean you have to get naked. It doesn't mean that, you know, you need that there's going to be penetration. You can go to a Tantra festival without being naked, without having sex for like the whole Tantra festival, and still learning a lot. And just like, because Tantra festival is like, for me, it's the most amazing teachers coming together, teaching you all different fields and perspectives on sexuality. On Tantra,
but I want to add, it's not only about sexuality, so you can have also, and it's not about only personal development, it's also about spiritual development and your whole being. So for me, Tantra is also to grow, to be more whole and connect to the source, maybe. So to be more in touch with God, if you believe in
yourself. And like, for an example, the most important thing always Tantra Festival is to claim your yeses and your nos, you know. And that's like, just before we dive into this more, Tantra festivals really or sexuality, literally all the topics, all the issues you have in your daily life, you will find them in your sexuality. If you don't know what you want, if you cannot say yes and no in sexuality, this is what you're going to find, you know. So sexuality is the biggest trigger of all of these things that you've stored inside. So actually going to Tantra Festival, there's going to be workshops about yeses and nos. Can you say no to someone, you know, and feeling the yes towards yourself? It's about learning about the energies. You know, you can have orgasmic energies just by orgasmic status just by energy without touching. So it's just like this huge field of learning everything that sexuality is. And this is the field we dived into. And how did it change our lives? And we kept on going over and over and over again. So how did it change your life?
There's a question about energies. Yeah, so it goes into the same direction, like playing with your chakras, with sexual energy or different energies, connecting with you and with other, or with the field or with the universe. So it's so crazy things can happen, which are beyond our imagination. So it's like mind-blowing, and you get in states which you cannot think about before you have experienced it. So it's a huge experience, and you miss 90% of your capabilities of the human body if you don't use it.
Yeah, actually, and that's a beautiful question, you know. Definitely, like, to get in touch with sexual energy means to feel the energy in your body, to feel life force energy, to feel your chakras also. So this is one huge aspect of the sexual energy, and definitely of that what we experience in Tantra festivals. It's like the huge thing for me, because now I cannot think of one day where I'm not feeling these energies, because they mean for me to be alive, to be here, to feel my life force energy, my juiciness every single day. And this is what you learn.
So we're just tapped into what changed your life, and you're dived directly into it, huh?
Yeah. So I guess just before we go, how it changed our lives. You know, we went there and I was really shy and I was still really plucked. So in the beginning, it gave us exactly what we needed to open and to expand again. You know, after 1 year of really healing, not feeling any pleasure, not feeling any juiciness anymore, I guess we needed a field like this to expand and to see sexuality can be fun. And it doesn't have, I think what it teaches us the most, or me, is that to get rid of the idea that sexuality like is following a goal, that you have to go somewhere, but mostly that it is like being more and more present and finding the pleasure in every single moment. You know, and this is one big thing that we learned.
So basically it's from a perspective of a meditation, right? To be really present with your energies, with your senses, with whatever, and just being in that state of presence, of awareness and of consciousness, and then everything can happen.
Yeah, definitely. So how did it change your life? How did you change, and how did it change your life, your sexuality, you know, going to Tantra festivals?
For me, it healed a lot of what I thought about sexuality on the one hand.
What did you think about sexuality on the one hand?
It's mostly about penetration, and it's about ejaculation, and it's about orgasm, and it's about things you do with your partner in the bedroom, maybe. And it changed to sexuality is everything in life. Nature is sexuality, your whole existence is sexuality. And it's not side aspect like doing it once a week in the bedroom, but it's omnipresent in every single moment. You know?
And how would you say it changed your being and your way of living?
So the experience we gained there, it expanded me a lot. What is possible in this body, in this spiritual body, in this energetic body? But yeah, and I want to have it. So it wasn't
You said something beautiful, and I think, you know, maybe you've heard that sexuality was always meant as a path into divinity, into experiencing your own divinity, you know, your higher self, you know, and that is one thing that Tantra says, and I think this is exactly what we experience. It's what you can experience in meditations, and it's what we experience in Tantra Festival through maybe different breath works, because breath is a huge thing there, you know, your breath, through embodiment, but also through sexuality, through the interaction, you know, and it's not what I think, what we learn both, it's that it's not about the orgasm anymore, like it's not, that is not as important anymore, but it's the way there, and to find a meeting point also, and to see what is here present in this moment, and finding the beauty and the magic in it. And through that you experience beauty in everything, and there's no failure. I think before, that's like a big thing also, before there was so much failure, because if you only have one goal, you know, then you can fail. You can fail. But now we don't really experience failure anymore, because we just go into it with no expectations.
Yeah, and the present moment is always right.
And the present moment is always right. And if you follow it, if you follow the meeting point, what is here, present in this moment right now, then you're not like with your mind like 20 steps ahead, you know? If you do that, you don't feel your presence anymore, and you don't feel what you want. But if you're present right here, you're always going to know what you need, like in this special moment. And maybe it's just touch on your heart. Maybe it's just that, and that can be so ecstatic, you know? Yeah.
And one thing which came when you were talking about that is, one big aspect was to heal the relationship with my own shadows, to accept everything I am. I think for me that's Tantra in its core. It's to accept anything which is all surround, but also in me. So it's like accepting
the darkness,
the light, and
power.
The power and the weakness and everything, like all these polarity, playing with the polarity and integrate it into me and my heart. Yeah.
I love the hearts, by the way. Who's sending us all of these hearts? Let us know so we can send you a heart back. Who's sending us these hearts? So yes.
Yeah. So how it changed your life, actually?
Okay, maybe you can already, like, maybe you've noticed, like me 4 years ago, and I talked about it. You know, I wasn't able to receive an orgasm. I couldn't feel orgasms. I couldn't be orgasmic. I couldn't feel pleasure. You know, what would happen right away was like I would go in my mind and then it ended immediately. So me now is that I can feel fucking so much pleasure. I feel so much pleasure, you know. I don't know, like, how did it change me? I'm so choosy. I'm choosy in every moment, and I can turn myself on, you know, and I do know. I think how it changed me is that I know my body so well. I know my being really well. I know my sexuality really well. I have a really personal relationship to my body, to my, you know, to my feminine body parts and to my sexuality. It changed me in a way that I do know my desires and I know my boundaries, and I can speak them out. I can state them. I can always say what I need and what I want in every moment. And when it changes, I can speak it out. And that's a huge thing for me because I couldn't do that. I am not goal orientated anymore, but I just enjoy being in the presence. And out of that, there's something beautiful in it all the time. I think another thing is that there's hardly any day now, and this is something that just shifted recently, that sexuality is something that is in our lives every single day. And I guess what changed the most in my life is that I don't see sexuality as the act anymore, but as I am a sexual being, meaning the way I move, the way I breathe, the way I use my voice. That's all of these things that help me to liberate myself, and I use them every single day. And for me, a sexual being means that I connect to the sexual life force energy inside of me every single day. And if I don't do it, I feel it, because then I'm not in my real power. So I think this is what changed a lot my mind. Like, I shifted my mind on this, like how I look on it, my perspective, because I learned that sexuality is so much more. It's like a state of being, and we are all sexual beings. We just forgot, you know. And the moment our sexual energy is blocked, we are not in our power. We get sick because the energy can't move. So for me, it's like I live it every single day. And if I forget one day, I feel like my energy is getting sour. It really is. And then I feel it, and then I can shift it around. And one more thing is I experience orgasms. I do. Well, we do like orgasms still, you know. Also, maybe it's not about this, in many different ways. I can orgasm just without being touched, just by energy. I can orgasm just by touching my breasts. You know, I love if Christians, you know, touches me. I can orgasm if you touch me in the anus, and that's something that's really big. I experienced the many different pleasure points in my yoni, you know. So how it changed to me is this, you know, and it's like in only 4 years I've become a really sexual being, and I've become really self-confident through it. So how do you think it changed me?
Yeah. So that would be my.
And I teach sexuality.
Yeah? Yeah. So besides the sexual process or act, how does it change your life?
How does it change my life?
Or your personality?
I think what it did to me is, like, the more I dived into my sexuality and my being, the more layers I could take off, and the more I became my real self. Without layers, you know, layers that we've put on ourselves throughout the years, you know, from our childhood. I took them all off, and the more I take them off, the more I become myself, my real me. Free, you know, without thoughts about what is anybody else going to think about this. Like, all of this, I free myself from this more and more and more. And the more I free myself from this, I become my real self. Just me here, without worrying about anybody else, just me. And this is how it changed me the most, I think, you know. trusting myself, knowing myself, being confident. Yeah. Thank you so much, you beautiful being. Thank you, Jette, for your heart. Thank you, Kimmy, for your beautiful message. Thank you so much for your sweet kisses and love. So before I ask you about this, I'd love to know how what do you feel when you hear this? You know, how do you experience sexuality right now, and you know, what is present inside of you right now, watching this, listening to this? I'd love to know. So please share, like, whatever it is. That would be amazing. Do you want to add something?
Well, we talked about this just a few moments ago when you showed me a note from Facebook, what happened 4 years ago, and like there were pictures. Yeah,
there was me 4 years ago.
Yeah, and it's not the same person anymore.
I'm not. But
you're
not either.
Yeah, but it's I can see it because I'm an external perspective, right? So it is like you're such a different person, more into your femininity, but also in your power and all in your essence, more, so much more glowing and radiating. And it's not the women I met 4 years ago.
Yeah. And you had hope all the time. Huh? Yeah, and let me about you. It's like for Christian, for me, he is becoming like so much. You've been present, really present all along, but you're so present, and you're, you know, for me, you're really stable and really connected to your masculinity, but just to your being, and you're so. There's like this. I don't know how to explain it. This calmness around you, and that's something that is impressive, you know, for me. That's like this deep knowing of who you are, and that's really beautiful and powerful. You know, you're becoming more and more powerful and allowing yourself to be powerful.
Yeah, I think that's one big aspect, to allow myself to be more into my power and to put all the layers of beliefs, what other people think I should be, or I think they want me to be.
They take them off. Huh?
Yeah. So it's like more coming home and more being rooted in myself.
Kimmy is right. Kimberly is saying, I feel hope for myself and money. That's beautiful.
There's always hope.
There's always hope, and you know, maybe you want to share, if you feel like it, what is it? Why does it give you hope? Like, how is it right now? How does it feel right now? And you know, in what aspect does it give you hope? And yes, there's hope, you know, because if you look at my story, 4 years ago is not such a long time, and I was like, 4 years ago, I was like a complete mess. Really, sexuality and me didn't really go along, and it changed so much. And I think it's when we open up, and also if we do get help in any way, meaning like if we find people, workshops, anything that inspires, that show us a way how sexuality can be. Because I think what's so important about this, we grow up with a picture that society teaches us about sexuality, and this is the only way we know. And our parents, but they've learned the same way. So the role models we have is society, television, and our parents. And I think what is so important, if we want to open up and if we want to change, we need to find new role models. And we need to find beautiful people that can guide us and show us a way. Because how do you know, right? Sometimes you just need a safe space where you can experience yourself and where you can, you know, really get in touch with your sexuality.
And of course, people who show you what is possible. Because so many things we experience at these festivals, I thought before, are not possible. Like having energetic orgasm or having female orgasm or whatever. So being in a state of bliss and just orgasmic state and feeling every touch and just being orgasmic because you feel the air on your skin or you breathe or whatever. So it's so mind-blowing, and because nobody showed it us and teach us. So it's so important that you have someone who can extend and expand your space of possibilities.
Yeah, definitely. And there's a few comments, Zara saying that feels so beautiful. That sounds so beautiful. Yeah, it is. And I love that name, A Girl from Munich. I lived in Munich actually for many years. I love Munich. It's not hate to my favorite city in Germany. So what exactly happens at those festivals? We did talk a lot about it already. Let me give you an example. Let's just real quick.
Yeah.
Like what happens exactly is it's just like a beautiful, conscious people, sex positive, coming together. And it's not creeps, it's people like us, open and willing to learn. We want to expand, we want to learn.
And experience.
And experience. And you have teachers from all over the world coming together, Tantra teachers, on different levels. Like some are just like doing embodiment, some energetic, breathwork, whatever.
Meditation.
Dancing. It's all of these different elements. And you have like parallel, you always have like 3, it depends on the size of the festival, 3-4 workshops. And you can choose which one, you resonate with the most.
Yeah.
And then
teacher, right?
With teacher you like the most, and you go there and you can decide, and you can learn about your boundaries. You can learn about energy in your body. You can learn about, there's couple workshops where you learn, how to have different sexuality with your partner. Yeah. There's women workshops where there's only women coming together, sisterhood.
And men, of course.
And there's, of course, men, just men and their masculinity, the sexuality.
So you have wonderful rituals. I think Tantra is mostly about rituals.
Healing rituals.
You have so many things. So imagine whatever can be is there.
You learn different meditation styles. Dancing is a huge part because dancing is moving our energy. So, this is more or less what it is about. You meet beautiful people. You have beautiful conversations. And
nice venues, good food.
Yeah.
It's a space where energy is high and you have a high feeling if you leave and you can come back to reality, and it's like you need a little bit landing process because it's so different.
Yeah, definitely. So I hope that helps you a little bit. So Kimmy is saying, I feel hope because we struggled with intimacy and sexuality from the beginning. I feel you, baby. And you know what? The thing is, I know, we know, and so many couples know. Because how, if 2 beautiful people are coming together and both, did not have a sex positive environment, how should they know, and they meet and they just don't know. So I think it's like a beautiful path to experience together, to grow together, and to maybe also get like inspiration from the outside.
And I think the key success factor is communication.
Also.
Yeah, but first have your shit together in terms of have a beautiful sexual relationship to yourself.
Yes.
And
yes, it starts with yourself.
Yes. So everything what happens on the festival is about yourself. It's not about interaction with others. Others can help you to
experience yourself.
You experience yourself, right? Yeah. But it's always your experience and your growth and your own journey.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's one of the things that it's so important to me, that if you don't have a beautiful personal sexual relationship with yourself, then you cannot have a beautiful sexual relationship with anybody, because it starts with yourself.
And it's so easy to understand, because if you need another one, you're in the need and you're not in abundance. Like if you have ways and whatever to have this relationship with yourself, you come from a place of abundance, and then 2 people meet in abundance and more abundance is created. But if you're coming from a place of need and 2 people come together and form a place of need, then you have more need.
And that's what's happened a lot of times, desperation and frustration. And also, I think we didn't grow up learning our sexuality, because my sexuality, my needs, my desires are so different than yours. And I think we need to find time to reconnect, to learn about this beautiful being. Like, what do I want? How do I work? How do I function? I didn't know. So I need to find out in order so that I can communicate it with another one. Yeah. So Sarah is saying it would be so nice if you can recommend any workshops. yes, we can. I will write some down here. Like any Tantra, the ones that we can recommend is the Amsterdam Tantra Festival. It's Elfriede and Rakesh. They are doing it. We will write it down here. It's the one in Portugal. It's a beautiful one. The one in Sweden is a beautiful one. There's one in Croatia we heard about. We never went there, which is a beautiful one. There's the Easter workshops we heard a lot. We didn't go, but we.
So I wouldn't only recommend what we did, and we will sum it up.
And we will sum up like a few beautiful teachers also.
Yeah.
You know, that helped us, and obviously also like I'm working in this field also. It's more about like your own sexuality, but everything we learned is like packed in the work that we do and that I do with women, you know, to come back into your own sexuality. So that's also a recommendation, maybe. Yes, but we will write down all the teachers that we love a lot. Jette is like, when is your first Tantra workshop going to happen? Actually, it's happening. We are doing a few here in Mallorca. You know, for couples and also for not couples.
But as you said, all these things we learned is the core of all our work. So it's instantly here. Yeah.
And Marie saying, I've been to some Tantra spaces and temple nights, but for me it was just people seeming very conscious at the beginning. But then it was simply about fucking as many people as possible. So I'm kind of skeptical and scared of these places now. How to differentiate those festivals and spaces? That's a beautiful, beautiful question. I'm so grateful that you just asked this, because I said something to you before we started. You know, when you start to go on Tantra, when you start to go into this field, you are not only going to experience amazing things, because there's so many workshops and Tantra festivals, and some may not resonate with you at all. You know, we went to a Tantra festival. It was our experience. The one in Ibiza. I'm going to just speak it out, and we didn't like it at all. Because what we experienced, and maybe you want to share also, was there was just people that actually just wanted to fuck. And we didn't like it. Because we want to go to spaces where we feel like there's conscious people. I talk too much. I need to drink something real quick. I'm sorry. So what we desire is people where it's not about fucking, but where it's about the depth, you know, and to connect with people and with yourself. And there's different. I feel you, because there's differences, and I think what I wanted to bring in here is to please stay open. So if you make an experience and you feel like this is not, it doesn't feel good for you, trust yourself more. But please stay open, because not all of these fields are like this. And I think it's like finding your way in this, you know, your own teachers you resonate with, and trust yourself more. Because yes, also in this field, I feel like there's people that just want that are really superficial, you know, and they want to fuck, and there's nothing wrong about this, but maybe it's just not you. And trust yourself about it, and stay open and try yourself out, you know.
Yeah, what I want to add is, like, in the festivals itself, there are some rules, of course, and it's mostly the rule that there is no penetration. So
in some of them there is this rule.
In the workshops and in the temples and stuff. So this separates a little bit the ones who just want to fuck and the one who want to go deeper, and being open for that. And maybe it's also easier for beginners to have this clear boundary to that there's no intercourse.
And we can state some beautiful teachers here who are like this. And last but not least, temple nights. That is something we experience is really hard, and there's only one teacher that we love who's giving beautiful temples, and all the other temples for us, they were so superficial, and we didn't stay because we didn't resonate with them at all. So I feel you in this a lot, you know. And I hope it helps you a bit. And then there was one more. No, I think that is it. I think that was the questions Thank you so much, beautiful people. If you have more questions or anything, let us know. And I have 3 more questions that beautiful people, or 4, wrote us before, and I think maybe some of them we already answered. I think we did speak about how can you learn Tantra.
And I want to emphasize even more that what we're talking about is not the traditional Tantra. So there are so many things which are called Tantra, but I think it's important for everyone to find their own way of Tantra and what do you resonate with and whatnot, because it's such a big field, and I think nobody can really define what it is.
I mean, there's like the traditional Tantra, and if you want to learn it, there's a beautiful teacher, Arya, and I know she learned it the classic way, like the really old Tantra for years, like, you know, and she's doing a lot of this kind of work. So we are going to mention them in the post underneath. I guess if you want to learn the modern Tantra, the Tantra that, you know, you can also, that changes your sexuality, your life, I think it's a beautiful way to start going to workshops and Tantra festivals or things like this, you know, and even online courses can help you in this, you know. Yeah. For you, what are the basics of Tantra as a personal experience and couple experience? The basics.
The basics.
Ooh. I think for me, the basics of, maybe it's not Tantra, but the basics of sexuality in a huge way, that's a beautiful question, thank you, is 3 things. First, to relearn how to be really present. And with that, I mean is like that you are so present that you are going to find the magic in every moment. To slow down. This is one basic for me. Slow down and make it a journey. You know, and you can like in this tiny little touch, you can find so much magic and pleasure, and you can only experience it if you slow down and you're present. This is one basic. And I think basics for me, what I learned is 3 things actually. So that you start, like the 3 basics of sexuality is for me that if you want to experience like this, that you reconnect to your energies, your sexual energy inside, and you find a way how to learn how to move them, how to feel them, how to really feel energies again. And that has a lot to do with presence, with meditation, so you feel them again. But I think the 3 basics is for me that you use your voice, because without your voice, use your breath first. You really use your breath and your voice when you're diving into this field of sexuality, because a lot of times we don't do that, and you move your body. So body movement, breath and sound is the 3 things that are so important to me when it comes to sexuality, to Tantra. And through that, connect to your energy and then to the energy of your partner. I think, I mean, there's so much about it, but it's really simple things actually, you know, that helped me to connect to my sexuality. What is your way? What would be your reply?
I think most important is awareness, consciousness, and the third one would be reflecting yourself. So it's all about experience, and experience yourself as a being experiencing things, and hold this ability to hold, to coming from a space which is greater than a feeling, which is greater than an emotion, and be the observer of that and reflecting this into your consciousness. So yeah, body-wise, sexual-wise, there are so many tools and stuff, but why do we do it? Because we are consciousness incarnating in a body, in a physical body. So it's like, well, let's have some experiences and see the beauty in all of it, in the dark and the light, and the good and the bad, and using this to experience yourself even deeper.
And as a couple experience, what is like the most important thing there for Tantra?
Well, set up your boundaries, I would say.
I think that is something really beautiful. Know yourself really, really well. Know your desires and your boundaries and communicate them really well. I think that is the most important thing. You know, that is it. I mean, there's so much about it, you know, we could dive into this for hours. We have so many beautiful exercises, but there's just not that one thing. But when it comes to the basics, it's really simple things, I think, you know. So, everybody talks about sexuality is such a huge thing, but actually it's not. It's like so simple. It's like really slowing down and being present and, you know, being here. Yeah. So what else? I think we talked about the other questions actually. How did your sexuality change? And is your sexuality, has it changed in a way that it's more intensive now? I think we did talk about that. We did talk about it. And what do we do? What do you experiment? We do experiment a lot. We are so open about everything. Like our sexuality can be wild, it can be rough, it can be kinky, it can be a little bit of BDSM, but in a really like loving way.
Conscious way.
It can be really present, it can be soothing, it can be everything. There's like, we are experimenting, you know, a lot about it. And that's the beautiful thing in it. So it doesn't get boring anymore. It's never been boring, but it's not boring. Sometimes it's just me having me time with my beautiful body and experiencing self-pleasure. But we do a lot.
I think it's
and sometimes we don't do a lot.
it comes again to the basic, being very conscious and full of awareness, and listen where the energy wants to go. And if it is, and come from a playful way, like well, this is just a game, and don't take it so serious.
You just said something beautiful, that again, just be present and see where the energy wants to go. And to answer the question again, I love that, you know. I don't know what, like, how do you say it? From shaman? How do you say your name actually? So I think this is one of the basics actually that you just said, is to be so present and aware that you feel the energy, your energy and the energy of your partner, and you can follow the energy and see where it changes and where it goes, you know. And it's like this beautiful word we learned in one of the first events is a meeting point. Finding a meeting point, meaning that you follow the energies. Where is the energy now? You know, where does it feel good now? And to be really present in following this energy. And this is like the basic, I think, where you find a meeting point between you and your partner. And I think it's a lot about energy.
And it's not only stuck or linked to sexuality. We should use it in everyday life.
Yeah.
How does it feel? Is it okay to speak to that person? Is it okay to eat that food? Is it okay to do that work?
Does it feel good, or do I want to walk away now?
Yeah.
So it's like finding the meeting point in every single moment, really always tapping in with yourself and seeing, do I still want this? You know, and what do I want now? It's no difference.
Yeah.
It's about energy, about having a feeling for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you so much, beautiful people. That was amazing. So, if you still have questions, I've had a bit of trouble connecting with my partner. I'm going to take this to practice. Yeah. And I do feel you in this, and it's practice, you know. I mean, we've practiced so much, and yes, it was not always easy, and I think finally we got to a point where I really feel like it's easy, but it's so easy because we are coming. I don't expect anything from you anymore. I don't need anything from you anymore, and the other way around. But we're still growing, huh? And trying.
Yeah, and my message would be trust yourself and trust your feelings, and trust your pussy and
your lingam
and your body,
your penis.
And if there is a no, take it as a no, and only go if there's a yes. So trust yourself. Your body has its own wisdom, and your energy has its own wisdom, and you are important, and that's the only thing what matters. Not the expectation of your partner, not the expectation of someone else or things you saw on television. It's you are the truth.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah. Thank you so much. So I'd say if you have any more questions, write them in the comment below. We will be happy to reply to them. If you have any questions, anything you would like us to talk about in our next talk next Thursday, let us know. Like anything, like whatever problems, whatever struggles you have in your relationship, in your sexuality, let us know. We'd love to talk about it. We've come a long way and it's been a wild ride, I think, and we're ready to share. So anything you want to know, let us know, please. It's very comforting to hear this from a man. Thank you. That is so beautiful. Thank you so much for saying that. Yeah, it's true, actually.
Men have their own struggles, so I crossed my boundaries so many times for sexuality and did a lot of things where I had a no and I did it anyway, so it's not gender based.
No, it's so beautiful. But what I really learned from Christian is that a lot of times we only talk about women, and the poor women, they cross their boundaries, and yes, we've experienced a lot of shit, and we crossed the boundaries, and it wasn't always easy, and men projected a lot on us, but it's also the other way around, and I learned this from you, that we do expect so much of you men, and we blame you for so much, but you experience the same we do. You have a lot of pressure. You want to please us, so it's the same thing. And I learned to open my heart and to see we go through the same struggles, and that is beautiful to be aware of that and to open up to your partner and to see his struggle also. He's trying really hard, both ways. She is trying really hard, and he is also, If you come to Mexico one day and you want to do a workshop for people around here, that would be amazing. Oh my gosh.
Maybe some workshops.
We will definitely do that, and I am pretty sure there should be some beautiful workshops in Mexico. The moment you open after this, they're going to come your way, but I will keep that in mind. Thank you so much for sharing, you guys. Thank you, Kimmy. Thank you, beautiful. Yes. All right, so let us know how you like this. Maybe comment under this, that would be amazing. Share it with as many people as you want, because I feel like this message has to be spread in the world. We have to start talking about this. Side fact, I am being shadow banned for talking about things like this. We are being shadow banned, so please spread these messages, like us. Share our work, because it's so important. We feel like we really want to change something, and the social media is not making it easy for us. So just
big tech is not making it easy.
No, they're not making it easy. So if you spread this everywhere you want. All right. Thank you so much for being here, for opening up, for your love. It was amazing. And see you next Thursday. Yes, it would be amazing. Mwah! Bye, guys. Bye. Hold on. Here.